As you can see, it's getting close to Halloween up there. Around here with the kids, we're going to be Star Trek figures for Halloween as a family. Anyway, I'm definitely feeling intimidated about the whole video thing, and I want to do it. I want to share it. You know, little big Chris, he said it. Nobody talks about the hard stuff. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to share the difficulty of the hard stuff to people. Because I've struggled with this for so much time in my life. And I've had moments of experimentation when I've done fasts or very strict diets where I've experienced dramatic transformation in my body in weeks. Enough enthusiastic change for me to believe that what I'm doing works, and to be able to dream about taking that to 2 months or 2 years. But you see, now I'm getting broken down a little bit. You see, I'm going to be 45 in a week, and I'm feeling pretty broken down. I also have 2 young kids. Didn't start having kids till I was 40. So my desire to be healthy and active and be able to participate in their lives when they're in their 20s means I'm in my 60s. And the health that of my whole life previous obviously is going to impact that, but these next 20 years, say 45 to 65, could really make the difference between having an additional 20 or 30 or not. And I definitely am the kind of person, I personally would love to, stay around as long as I can. Stick around and see stuff. So, I'm just scared, that's all. Scared of the work, scared of the pain. I think in some ways I'm scared of the stuff that gets brought up when you try to impose a discipline on yourself, and you have to face really what you're made of. And I've had times when I've scaled that hill and had power, and other times when I've fallen and it's been pathetic and never gotten up. And we live in this crazy society where nobody is allowed to talk about that. Nobody's allowed to talk about the fact that we're all putting on our best face and not really putting our whole selves out there. And I don't think that's a crime or anything, but with this medium, it seems such a waste in a sense. And this is, again, to Chris's point, is that with this medium, it just seems so such a waste to throw it away, to not really use it for true human intimacy, true sharing, the kind of thing that happens between people in a retreat, the kind of thing that happens between people on a battlefield, the kind of thing that happens with people who work in a hospital setting together, or an ER, or an ambulance corps, or firemen, and on and on and on. The intense, it probably trickles down to even a corporate environment where there's a good competition and people have that fiery group sense that it gets established when you really get a good something passed between 2 people, and you're not just up at the surface glossing along with shuffling everything that's already there. You're really creating, you're really moving forward. It's a great feeling. I've been out of that for some time. And there's a part of me that creates that. And that part of me is the part that grabs hold. Ironically, I think part of this is that psychologically, the challenge is to figure out what the obstacles are. And in order to stare at them and acknowledge them enough to be able to get around them, over them, through them, whatever, ignore them, whatever it is, whatever the plan is to move past, it requires an acknowledgement, a degree of acknowledgement. And I guess that's up to every individual how they approach that, you know. And I'm having a hard time with what I thought I could do in that department in my life earlier, and the truth about what I am doing. I don't want to say what I really can do, because I believe that I'm greater than my current condition. Quite a bit, in fact. So, pursuing some kind of transforming period. I've done it a number of times before. Typically in the past, that has been a detox fast, which in over a 10-year period, 12-year period, those experimentations have gone, I'd say I've done that 6 to 8 times. I'd say the last couple reached, they were kind of lukewarm, whereas the ones in the middle, when I was experimenting with the model, were more fulfilling. What do I mean by that? Over the course of, say, 6 or 8 detox fasts in the course of 12 years approximately, when I first experimented, I followed explicit instructions from a class and from reading material that kept me in a specific track where I just did the steps as I was told. And it gave me a result. I paid attention, I kept a journal. But then I started to modify an experiment. And I did that for a few rounds, and then I continued to do fasting, but it was a lot more, I was resting on my own previous experimentation. I wasn't breaking new ground. I'm in a mode now where I want to break new ground once again. I want to include more than just food. My challenge to myself that I'm having a hard time with because of YouTube, because of putting my face up here, is to try to bring myself out and be authentic. And I can tell that I'm definitely suppressed, you know, majorly. And I don't think that's working anymore. I mean, I want to try to draw the real me out using various techniques, and I'm scared. I'm scared. It's weird. I'll feel better if I feel better about myself physically, obviously. I think most people do. And I need the drive. I need the energy. I don't have the energy of 25. I don't have the stay up all night and work all day and work all night mentality that I had when I was 25. I don't. And the opposite is somewhat true presently, which is that I am just disgusted by my productivity level. I need to fundamentally change something, because it's not about just chipping away or pushing. I'm capable of pushing, I'm capable of chipping away. It's something about the way I have things structured. So because I've had experiences in the past with detox fasting, and I've made that succeed in the past, my thought is to try to apply that at the center of a transformation. And the difference this time in my experiment from my previous ones, which I will spend time talking about during, I will refer back to these previous experiences and tell you about them. The difference now is that I not only want to do the fasting for basically an internal cleansing, which also clarifies the mind a lot, but I do want to deal with the sort of psychological, spiritual side of things as well. Maybe spiritual is the more accurate term, and the physical. And I don't feel as though I need to do a lot in the spiritual to impress upon myself right now, other than I want to have a lot of gratitude, just like focus on a lot of gratitude for the condition I already have with a beautiful little family, a young family, and just breathe that in as I face all the challenges of doing that. But the real emphasis placed for me is to combine basic exercise with basic detox fasting, and in my expanded view of detox fasting, which means not just the period of time that you starve yourself, so to speak, that you limit your food intake completely, but rather an entire arc of time, a whole period of time during which you're restricting your intake in one form or another. Sometimes more, sometimes less. You dial it up, you dial it down. And when I just one example would be, when I say restricting intake, it could be that you just don't eat any grains, or you just eat dark green vegetables and rice for 2 weeks. Whatever it is. Point being, controlled, having controlled diet, limited, and saying this is it. You eat from this area, and that's it. And then on the exercise, I just want to do basic push-ups and sit-ups, really, at the moment. Maybe some chin-ups if I can put a bar in my shop. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm scared. I'm standing on the edge of a cliff. Got to jump into the water. Just got to do it. Got to get cold. I could go on and on about the barrier. I think I need to figure it a little, but I need to also just jump.